Translating Buddhist texts from Chinese to English consists of 4 steps usually, and here we're using the example of 佛说庄严菩提心经, the Buddha speaks the sutra on adorned commitment to enlightenment, to do the 3rd stage, which is editing and proofreading. In general, editing and proofreading is essentially what you would do with an English composition. Here, you notice that I go through the explicitly highlighted areas and make changes to them. With the Chinese transliteration, the pinyin, sometimes I check to make sure that the pinyin is correct with a G or without a G. And this editing and proofreading stage for this approximately 12-page English sutra took about an hour, and here it's sped up about 8 times. On the terminology 法相, I wanted to use something that the reader would immediately understand rather than having to figure out what 法相 means, especially because 法相 also represents a specific Buddhist school of thought, plus other definitions. So here I use a very specific definition for 法相. I will actually review this English several more times. So the editing and proofreading isn't done in one shot. It's done repeatedly. Once I go through it several times, including reading it out loud, which really helps me, and then I will post it. I post it on the Compassion Network's blog. I'll have the link below for you to see if you wish. That's also going to be in the entire Tripitaka list, where now this sutra now includes an English link with a English translation draft. So I don't have a seal of approval. In general, I think the seal of approval is so that there is another person who understands the Dharma, who can see that there's the gist of the text being there and that there are no major errors. Usually I think of going to my teacher who's no longer around for seal of approval. I'm sure there are plenty of people who would claim certain type of authority to say that they may approve, certify certain translation, and without their approval, the translation is not considered correct. But there are also other possibilities, I suppose. There could be auspicious signs. There could be people in general who support the translation. Regardless of whether you have someone you can go to for seal of approval or not, I would highly recommend that you translate whatever you can, because it's needed at this time. In fact, it's urgent that we translate as much of the Chinese Buddhist canon or the Tripitaka in general into English because so much of those valuable texts are not yet available to English speakers and readers. So even though I don't have a seal of approval for this sample translation, still hope that this sharing is helpful to some extent. So that concludes then the fourth stage of translating a classical Buddhist text.